And all the time when I'd been band directing during the day, I was teaching at night, Tuesday and Thursday classes, jumping all weekend at the drop zone. It was really a 7-day-a-week job. And I started building gear for my students because I didn't like what I could get, just packs for them pretty much. And then I built a rig for myself. And I showed up at DeLand one year, and it was a different kind of rig, very new kind of looking stuff, hand deploy, that kind of stuff. No one had seen it before. And this guy said, "Wow, where can you get that?" And I said, "Well, it's just mine." And he said, "Well, can I buy it?" And I went, he said, "I'll give you $100. And I went, "Okay." So I gave it to him, and I went home, built another one. And I went, "Hey, this is easy money. I don't have any kids yelling at me." So within a year, I'd given up the teaching, and I had 5 employees. And we make about 5 rigs a week. We were all jumpers. We'd each build one of our own completely. And it grew from there now to over 100 employees and making a lot more rigs. As a matter of fact, we're closing in on rig number 60,000 now. Quite a few, yeah.
And so we went to the World Meet like everybody did, and I got a chance to be a stand-in on the All-Stars, and it was great fun. But that team stayed together, and in 1974, the next year, we won the Nationals. And it was just we were all outlaws. Most of us didn't have D licenses. We had to apply for our D license even to go to the Nationals. And it was a great time. And I told the team, I put them all in the motorhome when we left the conference meeting. I said, "You guys have to come up with a team name because Peter's Abundant and Tunnel of Love will not fly at the National Skyline Championships." And so they came up with the name Captain Hook and the Sky Pirates. So that was the beginning of a team that lasted through 4 years, and we ended up winning the World Meet with it. It was a great team.
So when I worked for Gene, I found out as soon as I arrived here why this place was good is because the Golden Knights jumped here, the Army parachute team. And they had the best of the best. The coaches, Gene Paul Thacker was one of the original Golden Knights, and he was my coach. And so I worked here sunrise to sunset, flying jumpers, teaching people how to fly, and skydiving myself. And I made the U.S. team in '75, and we went on to the World Meet in 1976 because we picked the team a year ahead so we could train. And here I came to Rayford to train for 2 months, and I've stayed here 40 years. So, long story short, I found out, as I said, with the Golden Knights being here, I'm living in a hangar for $20 a month going, hey, these guys are getting paid some money, they get to go home in the evening, I'm living in a hangar, and I go, maybe that's a better lifestyle, maybe I need to get a sponsor. So, and plus I figured I'd be a great ambassador for the Army team. So it took 2 years. Actual tryouts for the Army team is 6 weeks, but I spent 2 years trying out for the team. And we had to convince Washington Department of the Army to accept a woman, and, is this the proper woman that would be a great ambassador for the Army, not just a skydiver, but ambassador, and they all agreed. And so I went through joining the Army, going through basic training, airborne school, my skill, and then was able to get on the team.
It was, I think, I started in '62. It was just a few months after that I started writing a monthly column for Parachutist magazine. Didn't have very many jumps, but hey, the readers didn't know that. And I was also very lucky to be based, I grew up in San Francisco. I started a parachute loft in Oakland at the old Oakland Airport. Well, this was very close to Monterey, where PCA was. And I remember going down in the very early days to Gunby's house, because PCA was in his basement. And then I remember when Norm Heaton came out, and George Jivanen came out, and Richard Anderson was working at PCA down in Monterey on some downtown street before they moved it to the Bear Flag building. So I was just involved with the PCA very, very early, and got involved with the Northern California Parachute Council as well.
So Perry Stevens, I heard about out in California in the Stevens system that he had designed, and I converted all of the rigs at East Troy to direct bag static line and RSLs with a Stevens lanyard, which puts a cross connector on both front and rear main riser and a a line that comes down from the right riser and ties onto the chest reserve handle. Now, if you use this system, it's guaranteed to take out some teeth. If you have to cut away, you're going to get that handle as it goes by. We always told people that. We never actually had it happen. But that system worked really well, and it was before piggybacks and whatever. It was my first incursion into gear design and safety and training.
Well, Dale Boyer and I ran Sky Sports for about 6 years. And I handled most of the business management side of it. Dale handled a lot of the training and physical activities of packing and stuff like that. I'd assist wherever I could. But we did it because we wanted to have a place to jump. Simple as that. And so we worked with Bill Seed and got the Cessna 207 out and started having some fun. And then we brought in the couple of DC-3s and the Kilroy from the Topeka Restoration Group up there with the Old Air Force, and got to know them pretty well, worked with them quite a bit, and they came down, flew us numerous times, and during that period, wound up doing a lot of teaching, a lot of jumping, and a lot of demos.
RB. Club safety officer. I want to hear one cheer for the club safety officer. I also want to bring up one quick story that sometimes the best times weren't jumping. They were on windy days when we couldn't jump. And if you missed a windy day, you missed a really good time. So, Butch is here and Fast Eddie is here. And it was a windy Sunday. And Butch had brought this sewer pig out to the drop zone. Those of you who don't know what a sewer pig is, it was about 16 inches of heavy rubber that weighed 87 pounds. And we were wondering what we could do that afternoon. So, well, let's just put it like this. They had a race the day before. There were all these barrels out there at the drop zone. And we thought we'd go bowling. So we have this combination of a sewer pig, 10 barrels, and an airplane. Well, we put the 10 barrels at the end of the runway. We had the formation of bowling. And we talked Leo into flying us. It wasn't hard because when he heard what we were going to do, he wanted to be part of it. I like that. So, safety officer and everything, I was going to be part of it. Well, the first time we did it, we didn't quite have our act together. We had Leo up a little too high because we were probably 15 feet up off the ground. So the ball jumped over all 10 barrels. We went out there a half mile later, found that sucker. Okay, we're going to try her again. So
remember, there was nothing wrong with the approach. It was the release that was bad.
Next time I was going to try the backspin. So we got that thing back, and Leo takes off, and I'm laying on the floor at 180, and have this little ball, but it was all good because I was a safety officer. And we take off, and we're really flying down the runway. And this time I turned loose about a quarter mile before the barrels. Leo pulls up about 15 feet and slows down so we can watch it. I'm not over the safety of the airplanes. But with that pig hit the lead barrel. And Eddie, you got pictures to validate this. How high do you think the first barrel went?
It came real close to the airplane.